Well, welcome in once again, everybody, to what promises to be an exceptional edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, and we've got another one of those shows, as I mentioned to you, and people that follow me regularly know, not only do I love golf and love the game of golf and love playing golf, I also like politics a lot. I've always been fascinated with politics. I follow it closely, and today's show is going to kind of embellish on that. We have a very special guest with us. As you know, there are a number of people running for the governorship of the great state of Nevada, and we're very lucky to have one of those gentlemen in studio. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about him right now before we bring him up on camera. John Lee is very experienced in politics in the state of Nevada. He currently serves as the mayor of a great community of North Las Vegas. John also served as a Nevada State Assemblyman in 1996 and Nevada State Senator, I believe, in 2004, and even elected to the North Las Vegas City Council in 2013. As a state senator, John served on multiple committees and was the chairman of the Government Affairs Committee. Then in 2007, John was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and after months of treatment and with a hell of a lot of help from his friends and doctors, John successfully won his battle with cancer. While not a golfer, John is an avid outdoorsman, including being an avid mountain biker like a lot of my other friends are. I'm not, but they are, and I think it's great. John and his wife, Marilyn, have been married for 46 years. Congratulations. 7 children, 28 grandkids. Wow. So the dinner table has always got to be pretty packed, I guess, around the holidays and Thanksgiving. So it's my pleasure right now to bring up and welcome the mayor of North Las Vegas, Mr. John Lee. John, thanks for coming on the show, Mr. Mayor.
My pleasure, Dennis. My pleasure.
I know you've got a busy schedule, and I appreciate you taking time out to come on. There's a lot of things I want to ask you, but let me start off with this. What was one of the most important things or two that you came away with after you served in the Assembly and the Senate in the state of Nevada?
I think I learned mostly how Nevada actually is run. I never went to college. I just, right out of high school, Rancho High School, and got a job. I got married the week I turned 19 years old.
Wow.
And I had a baby 9 months later, and so I never had an opportunity to kind of explore other things. And so when I ran for the state assembly, I really had never been past Indian Springs. You usually live in southern Nevada unless you have relatives up somewhere.
Right.
You don't really travel up north often. So I got a chance to see Nevada. But the exciting thing was I got to learn things I'd never learned about wild deer and mules and wild horses and mining and gaming and all the things that touch my life. It's like I got a college degree in the state legislature. I just went back more and more just to continue to learn and grow and to see what I could do to help my community. So I loved public service. I like being in business. I like making money. But at the end of the day, I'm not driven on how much money I can make. Do I need to be wealthier than you? Right. It's more of
anybody's wealthier than me. I could tell you that.
What do you do with your life? And so politics offers me an opportunity to participate with other people in their challenges, and I like to see if I can fix them.
That's awesome. That's well said. What are some of the more prevalent accomplishments, Mr. Mayor, you feel you have gotten done in North Las Vegas since being mayor, and how are you going to carry that over if elected to Carson City?
Well, I grew up in North Las Vegas, Dennis, and such as you, when something defines you, offers you something in your life that you think is special, you want to preserve it. So when my hometown was going under, I just couldn't stand the fact that maybe I would have the obligation of saying goodbye to it. Like it was a great life, So I said, if anybody can do that, it's probably me. And I talked to my wife about running for mayor. She says, "Oh, John, you spent 14 years. You've given enough time to the state." And I said, "Well, maybe you're right." I went to bed. I woke up next morning, and I just had this feeling like, John, you're the only guy that can fix your town. Now imagine you, Dennis, if your school or your neighborhood or the church you went to or the boys club you grew up in was going under, you would do the same thing, Dennis, you know. And I had all those years of experience in politics and many, many, many years of business.
Right.
I figured I could probably fix this thing. Now, I'll tell you right now, a lot of people thought, well, North Las Vegas will somehow the state will come in and fix it. It was never going to happen, Dennis.
Right.
We would have had to give the charter back. But the interesting thing is, when people look at Nevada, they think they can do anything, you know, up there. They can just print money almost. You know, if you got $10 in your wallet, you got 10 more dollars the state of Nevada has. Everything is budgeted right down to the dollar. The state could not have saved North Las Vegas, and so it took me to run as mayor and surrounding myself with some brilliant people and removing some of the obstacles out of the way, and then saying, this is where we're going.
Right.
When you hire John Lee Dennis to be your mayor, you don't really expect him to know how many sprinklers are out at the parks or how many lights are flashing, you know, blinking in the intersections. I have very smart city manager, wonderful directors, they do that. You hire me to know where we're going to be 10 years from now. And I'm telling you right now, that's exactly what the state needs to have. It needs to have a little bit more vision. It needs to have a better plan, and it needs to have somebody that can work with a lot of people to put the state where it should be in this new age.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know, I was thinking the other day in preparing for the show, Mr. Mayor, that and correct me if I'm wrong, that I'm not sure exactly what the population of North Las Vegas is now, but by God, I think you've only used, 50% of the available land in the city of North Las Vegas? So what in the world are you planning on doing with all that vacant stuff?
If I owned it, I know it would be great. But
I'm sure.
Our BLM is our partner in a lot of that land.
Yeah.
But in the corporate boundaries of North Las Vegas, 50% of it has not been built out yet. And so we can go and the Southern Nevada Public Lands Act nominate pieces of property that can come open, that people can bid on and stuff. So we will grow. I know this, Dennis. If this is where money is, it's going somewhere. It's going to North Las Vegas. You need to get in the middle if you're a business guy. It is the future of this whole valley. This is where all the growth will take place.
Yeah.
The rest of the communities are going to be tear-down communities. We will diversify the economy of Southern Nevada in North Las Vegas for once.
That's very interesting to see. You're a very successful businessman and have been for a long time. Being that you're in position, how much of a help do you think that helps you in running a government for the whole state of Nevada?
Well, that's a good question. Number one is government and business are completely different in a lot of ways. You know, you have a lot of transparency in government, and you want that. You don't want a bunch of conspiring people to get elected,
right?
And then all of a sudden they ruin the gaming industry, you know? So you like a bill to go through different committees. You like different houses. You like a lot of people looking at these bills and refining them. In business, I can make quick decisions. I can move a lot faster than government and business.
Sure.
But I've also found out, Dennis, that you can move faster in government than what the bureaucrats want you to move. And that's what it was in North Las Vegas. We knew what we could do. We knew what the charter allowed, and we knew we only had so much time to accomplish this goal. Our bond ratings is already junk, and 3 rating, you know, and so we've raised it up to A now. You know, strategically, we knew the things we needed to do.
Right.
And with a council that can move nimbly, you can get a lot of things done, but you still have city council meetings. You still have public input.
Right.
But it's not like, you know, the legislature where you got 63 different people to vote on it. And when you have a great council and you have a little bit of leadership and a little bit of vision and all of you want to go in the same direction, you can accomplish a lot.
I agree. That again, I think that's well said. Last question before we take our first break, Mr. Mayor. Right now, as you see it, what are 2 or 3 of the most important issues facing Nevada, and can they be fixed?
Yeah, anything can be fixed, Dennis. That's what makes me unique. I have a natural curiosity to fix businesses and fix government. Yes, we can fix it. I think the 3 things right now that need attention is, one is homelessness. I believe that our water situation right now, we need to start doing some deeper conservation and things like that. And health care is something that we need to get fixed for the residents of the state. You know, those are the three things that I personally can't fix those alone. I'm not smart enough, but if you surround yourself with the right people, you can do those things. Businesses will come. Education is definitely raising its head to the fourth level right now of serious issues in this valley.
Yeah.
But I think those would, let me just say, those would be the 4 issues that need attention.
Okay. And I agree with you totally. And I'll tell you what, when we come back from break, speaking about water, as you mentioned, you know, golf courses are probably at least right on top of the list of some of the biggest water users we have in the whole darn state. And we're going to talk about some of the golf courses you have in North Las Vegas, which are fantastic, and some of the other things. So I'll tell you what, we're going to step away and take a short break, and when we come back, we have a lot more with our special guest, the mayor of North Las Vegas, Mr. John Lee. Stay with us. We're back with you right after this.
When I first learned about Encore, I was a little taken back because I didn't know much about the ball. I went out and played a couple rounds with it, and I was just extremely surprised how this ball made up for what I was looking for in a golf ball 20 years ago. It's a very straight ball. It launches a little higher than other balls that I've used, which is ideal for the tour because we're playing firm and fast greens. A lot of the balls do fly very similar, but this ball reacts so much differently around the greens and inside 100 yards than any other ball I've ever played. The combination of this ball is the best ball that I've ever played.
Golfers at every level strive to hit the ball like a tour player, setting the club perfectly at the top, storing all the energy as they unwind and their club head approaches the ball, striking it flush at impact and staring it down as it explodes off the club towards the target. Introducing Precision Impact. Precision Impact is the single tool that will accelerate that process and get anybody striking the ball with complete command. Unlike any other product, Precision Impact is designed to keep the hands quiet and prevent the fatal flipping or scooping of the hands. This amazing product will actually reprogram your brain to keep your hands in the perfect textbook position. Precision Impact will soon have you hitting the most crisp, consistent shots of your life. As you start your backswing, you should hear several clicks as your wrist folds properly for a perfect set at the top of your swing. From there, allow your arms to fall as you aggressively rotate through the ball, knowing your Precision Impact will keep your hands and club head in the ideal position. Order now at PrecisionImpactGolf.com and never look back.
All right, we are back, everybody, continuing with a great show on the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, having a great conversation with a gentleman who wants to be the next governor of the state of Nevada, great state of Nevada, Mr. John Lee, who, of course, is the serving as the current mayor of the city of Las Vegas. And, Mr. Mayor, a lot of headlines have been made of late, ever since you announced that you switched political affiliations from Democrat to Republican. My question to you simply is, why?
That's a good question. I've never been a national political guy, which means I don't go to the conventions, I don't even go to state conventions. I just serve where I'm at, you know, and so I was a Democrat, it probably name only. I'm a Nevadan. I never really got involved with all that other stuff, that misinformation that goes out about parties and stuff like that. If I could work on something to fix it, that's fine. And so I was just going along in life, and I was just more and more concerned about what each side was doing. And in the national political realm, I didn't fit anywhere at the moment, you know. I wasn't anywhere but just being the mayor of North Las Vegas. If it was important to my community that I served 100% of my time there, that's what I did it. But when the Democratic Party had their state meeting and convention and they elected their leadership, 4 out of the 5 were avowed socialists, Nevada socialists. And I thought, this is it. I mean, I'm done. I'm ashamed now to think
This is not working.
Yeah. No, I mean, here, I'm an Eagle Scout, you know. I mean, I'm like, my father retired in the military Air Force, you know. I mean, this is just not how I was ever brought up or trained. I can't turn a blind eye to this. This is too important.
Yeah.
So I decided to change to the Republican Party. There's a lot of things about the Republican Party I like, the policies, a lot of them, you know, they're just like every other party. They need to work through the situations, you know. But I realized that the Democratic Party was never going to swing back to the center. It just couldn't do it. And there's a lot of people like me in the world, and they're probably going to go independent, you know, or to the Republican Party if they were conservative Democrats. My thing is, well, I'm not taking our country or my family or my grandchildren into the socialist realm. So, Dennis, that's the truth.
I think that's, we welcome you to the party, and, you know, and I think that's a very, very good reason. We were speaking about the water issue before and what the mayor wants to do when he gets up to Carson City, because it is a very sensitive subject here in the state of Nevada. You got a couple of, more than a couple of some really terrific golf courses that are water users. Tell us about those.
So we have a 3-part, and it's also a disc course.
It's a disc course, right? And I love that.
Yeah, I've not played disc golf, but
I love it. Yeah.
But it's at 324 East Brooks Avenue, and it's open from 5:30 a.m. for the early guys. I get up till 9:45 p.m.
Okay.
So, and this is interesting. One of the longest-standing golf courses in the valley, and the oldest 3-par in the valley. So, if you want to go to a historic golf course, there you go.
Didn't know it was the oldest. That's interesting. Thank you.
18-hole disc course and 3 lighted golf courses in the valley. It's one of those 3.
Right.
And it's the place to horn your short game. But the thing is, I like about it, you can take your children out there and play golf with them and teach them the sport. I think golf is a wonderful exercise for people, and it gets you away from all the distractions of what's going on in the world. It offers you a safe haven for 4 hours, and I understand that. Riding a bicycle, I need that same time too. And the other one here, we're very proud of the Aliante Golf Course. It's on Elkhorn Road. It's right near the Aliante Hotel. You've been there.
Oh, many times.
6 a.m. to 5:30, 18 holes, full challenging course. We got a full-service restaurant, a post shop to meet all the golfers' needs, and it's $40. It changes between 35 and 40 seasonally.
Heck of a deal.
But the other one I forgot to tell you, it was only $9 to go to our little 3-par.
That's
so
fantastic.
We want to encourage more people to get out and learn to enjoy golf.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, I don't know who booked you on the show since you don't play golf. We have a very strict rule about that.
Well, I've done putting courses, you know.
You qualify.
Goofy golf.
Okay, you qualify. You qualify. No, that's...
I don't have the patience to do something and get good at it. It takes me
I
years.
understand.
Very mechanical.
But like the mayor said, if you haven't experienced these 2 golf courses in particular, come on out and play them. I mean, the price is right. They're both beautiful settings, and especially if you're disc golf, which is getting more and more popular. I've tried it. I'm not very good with a frisbee, but they even have leagues for disc golf. It's fantastic.
And they're as serious as you golfers are.
There is no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. You know, one of your opponents, who I've known for a long time, in fact, actually have played golf with him, Sheriff Joe Lombardo, has decades, as you know, of experience in law enforcement. Is it fair to compare the North Las Vegas police to Metro in any fashion? And what's your take on law enforcement throughout the entire state of Nevada should you become governor? How are you going to help all of the agencies within the state?
Well, when you grow up in North Las Vegas, you're pro-police. You know, you want to make sure when you have an issue, the police come. We have very dedicated police. We have great staff at the top of the police department now. So we're very proud of our police department. But also, just to give you a heads up, that we work very close with the Metropolitan Police Department. At this point in time, we had a shooting range, they had a shooting range. We put all the land together. We're building a big regional shooting range training park for our police here in the valley. And CIA, FBI, hotel police, you know, security guards, everybody can use it. But what's interesting about it is we have agreements that we can go across the line. They can come across our line when there's a serious issue.
Right.
So the Harvest Festival, that idiot was up there shooting people. And nobody knew if it was 30 people or one person or what was going to happen. So everything centered down, they called in all their police to move in that direction. North Las Vegas responded by covering all of that area that they hadn't covered with our police department. We called people in, we called our fire department in. We had no idea what was going on, but we have mutual aid agreements that serve this community. We love the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. They're the posse. When we need them, they come.
Yeah.
And we're their posse, when they need us. So I think that the situation with police in the state of Nevada is that there's always going to be different issues that people want to take personally.
Sure.
But I know we train police officers well. But it's like golfers. There's a lot of guys that think they're expert teachers and aren't really good teachers, in golf. And there's also police officers who don't always do what they should do. And we recognize that, and we take care if that happens in our community.
And we are glad that they're around because they are a terrific police agencies, as are all of them here in Southern Nevada. NHP, Boulder City, North Las Vegas. We're happy to have them around. What are some of the things that you're doing, Mr. Mayor, now to kickstart your campaign? I know that, and I enjoy the commercial that you have running when you're bicycling through the desert. No, you move this cactus. Oh, there's a snake over there and all that. I think that's very clever. I think that's well done. But what are the other things that you're doing now to kickstart your campaign? Are you talking to people? Are you out fundraising? Are you making appearances? What's going on?
Yeah, usually in the world of the political business, there's three areas that you go in. First off is opinion leaders. You have to have people that think that you're going to do a pretty good job. Opinion leaders, people that you can go to and say, I'm thinking about this, what do you think? They're people who basically manage the future of our city. There's chambers of commerce, there's, all these organizations. After that, then you chase dollars, or sometimes simultaneously at this level, but you have to start raising money. And so imagine, it's going to cost probably $3 to $5 million to be the governor of this state.
Wow.
But today, to knock on a door and say, would you vote for me? It's way too early. So my focus right now is meeting the opinion leaders within communities and raising money to do this job properly.
How important is it to get the right kind of endorsements in a race like yours? And what are you doing to get those endorsements?
I'll give you an example. One time I ran for the state legislature and I got every endorsement you could possibly get. And I thought, oh boy, this is great. Review journalists and teachers, whoever, firefighters, And I was adding up all these endorsements. I thought, boy, there's no way I can lose. And I won. But the next time I ran, I said, I'm not going to worry about these endorsements. So you already can see what I did in the past. If you want to vote for me, vote for me.
Yeah. You've got a record.
I didn't get any endorsements, and I won again. So I think endorsements are important. I think they make the candidate feel well.
Sure.
But I also believe you've got to be able to tell your story to the people that live here. They're not going to look up and say, who does the chamber really want to endorse? You might get the people that are within the chamber to get a newsletter. But this is a big state now. You better make sure that you're out talking to people who don't go online and who do go online and who do read the paper and who don't read the paper. There's a lot of math involved in politics, but endorsements are very important if the other side gets them. So you do want those endorsements, but I do believe you can outwork endorsements.
I agree with you there. All right, next question before we take, again, another short break. How did the initial stages of COVID-19 affect the city of North Las Vegas?
So I think the first 2 months, we didn't know what to expect. It was just so new. Truthfully, I'd only heard of epidemics my whole life, and then pandemic was a word I had understood, but I'd never lived within a pandemic, So we did everything we were supposed to do. We tried to figure out, how we could protect the city. And so we started sending people home to work. It worked out in a lot of cases very well. The edict from Carson City was you will wear a mask. Some people said it worked. Some people it didn't work. I don't know. Well, I'm not trained in the healing arts that well. But if anything that the pandemic did, the first wave of it, it taught us how to run the city as effectively. And here's my answer to that, Dennis, now. We had firefighters, police officers, essential people to work for the city. And because you know as well as I do, if you and your wife both work, you both need those paychecks. You don't live on one paycheck, save the other, and you're living on it. So we would have officers who would they would come to work 2 days, then call in sick 2 days, and their wife would then go to her job and work 3 days, because we only work 4 days, so they could keep these jobs, And we thought, this is not right. The citizens of North Las Vegas, the residents, are paying for security.
Right, exactly.
They're paying for fire services.
Exactly.
Whatever we have to keep the building trades going. We need to build permits.
Totally.
So we started a school, Southern Nevada Urban Micro Academy, and we went to state. We told them what we were doing. They were hesitant, but what else? Everybody's kids were sitting at home, and so when Dad and Mom went to work, they told the kid, "Here's some peanut butter, here's some jam, here's some bread. Turn the TV on, be quiet, don't let nobody know you're here." And they left these little children at home because they were forced to make their house payments.
Right.
Stuff. So we started this school for our employees, and it was taught by instructors live, like we are talking. Yes, we had computers there. And we actually took them, figured out where they were in their IQ level, on certain issues, and then we put them in groups and said, okay, this is where we're going to start teaching these children. We took up people's, young children's IQ, when I say IQ, I mean their level of intelligence, because it was one-on-one teaching almost. You had like 12 people in a class instead of 40 or 50. We did great things in the Urban Micro Academy. We got up to 100 kids in there. We had closed down the senior centers and rec centers. They were going there. We've invested in it again. We put an additional amount of money because all those parents wanted to go there again. And we've already, in 4 days, we completely filled up. I think we got
Phenomenal.
300 people now. 300 kids. They want, in North Las Vegas, education. They want charter schools, private schools, public schools, parochial schools. North Las Vegas parents want education choice, and this is another choice that they have now.
Yeah, no, that's very well done. All right, I'll tell you what, we're going to step away, take another short break, and we come back. We're going to wrap it up with our very special guest, the mayor of North Las Vegas, Mr. John Lee. Stay with us. Hey golfers, I've been a golf talk show host for a long time, and I've been playing golf even longer. Being in golf media, I've had the chance to play every ball ever made. I've tried them all. Well, my search is finally over because I found the best ball I have ever played with. And more golfers are finding the same thing. I started playing with the Elixir golf ball made by Encore Golf. Encore Golf has revolutionized both their golf balls, the Elixir or the Avant 55, or the brand new Vero X1, to where the performance of either will simply blow you away. It did me. If you're looking for better performance and durability with your ball, Encore Golf has it. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out at EncoreGolf.com and you'll become convinced, as I am, the first time you tee it up with Encore. It's the best performing ball for the price. Go to EncoreGolf.com and see for yourself. Your scores will love you for it. That's ONCORE golf.com.
One of the buzzwords happening in golf is the word lag. You hear it all the time, but what is it, and how do I get it? Lag simply is the loading of the club to help produce tons of power in your golf swing. Up until now, getting lag into your swing has been very hard. Introducing the Lag Shot, a brand new proven training aid being praised by some of the leading PGA Tour instructors across the globe. This practice aid trains your hands, arms and body how to make a powerful, efficient golf swing with an amazing amount of lag. Lag Shot is a 7-iron length club with the same loft and lie with a whippy, flexible blue shaft and a beautiful jet black club head. After you master the Lag Shot, your game will change forever with a stress-free swing, more power and more distance with lower scores every time you play. Go to lagshotgolf.com and you'll see why this truly is becoming the #1 training aid in golf. Visit lagshotgolf.com.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to the continuation, kind of wrapping up the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. I'm Dennis Silvers, along with our special guest, Mr. John Lee, who is the mayor of North Las Vegas, a gubernatorial candidate. And a couple more things, Mr. Mayor, before we wrap it up. I had a couple of people that actually called me. One email, 2 or 3 called me, and they knew that you were going to be on the show, and they wanted to make sure that I asked you, and you mentioned it earlier in the show, what the heck are you going to do about the growing homeless problem here in Southern Nevada?
You know, Dennis,
And that's all over.
No.
That's we don't have a exclusive on that. But what can you do as governor?
Well, when we were just trying to eke out survival in North Las Vegas, we would push the homeless over to the Las Vegas side, and they would push them back over to our side.
Right.
Nobody really could understand. But I will tell you, I was just on the phone prior to our conversation with Mr. Don Ahern. Don Ahern, Ahern Rentals, is building a community now, trying to figure out how he can get involved and help homeless too. We finally got more than just government agencies interested in what we're going to do, but I would say there's a lot of people who have little disorders, you know, but there's 5% of those people who probably really would like to get a hand up and help themselves, you know, at least. You know, there are certain people out there that just life has just put them in that position, you know.
Yeah.
I really.
So do you think we need the private sector involved in this to make it much better?
I do. If you want it to run effectively, you don't want governments doing it. You want governments participating with some leadership that can follow the leadership and will stay with it. You know, mayors come and go, city councilmen come and go. And there's no continuity when that happens. Some people are passionate about homelessness, some people are passionate about parks.
Right.
And they'll just change direction.
Right.
So we need to have the community come together and discuss this. How this 5 years ago, it just proliferated. I didn't know why, you know. And to this day, these homeless encampments are political entities of sorts. They have people there that are the mayors, that they don't let certain people come into their group or their community. They have people who know every system in the law and where to get aid and stuff like that. They're almost like their attorneys, you know. They've built a community within themselves. We just have to get them to work with our communities now.
Because they tell me whether you are a resident of North Las Vegas or whether you are a tourist, people are actually becoming afraid to some degree because of the homeless encampments.
I would agree. I'm being honest with you. I'm doing whatever I can be led to do that will make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, and I will support good people with the city assets to make sure we can help solve this problem.
Yeah, and you're only one person. You only could do so much, and I agree with you.
But can I add one more thing?
Sure, of course.
What we've done is we put together a homeless team now. Instead of our police officers having to go down and handle homelessness issues that are minor, we have a Seprin who works with us, and he's got a group of people, and they drive up in a van, they find out what's the problem, how can I help you, what can we do? Our police officers can be police officers now. You know, we need to take people to jail who do things wrong and not be over here.
Right.
So we're separating this issue from policing, unless there's an actual police issue. So we're investing in the support and services of this community.
Yeah. No, that's great. Give me, Mr. Mayor, 1 or 2 or more, whatever you think of, reasons why businesses should move to North Las Vegas. Say a business in Central California, which is a disaster. All right, we want to move to Southern California. Let's see, should we go to Las Vegas? Should we go to Henderson? Should we go to North Las Vegas? Give me some reasons why you want them in North Las Vegas.
Dennis, this might sound odd to you, but every day I wake up in competition with Las Vegas, Henderson, and Clark County. We all have government agencies, Boulder City, Mesquite also.
Sure.
And I want to provide the best service I can so that company looks at us and they're going to do business with somebody. I want them to do business with us. We have sped up the building process. We have done everything we can to take out all the choke points that take place here. We've actually taught engineers and architects. They come into a 2-day course with us. They know as much about our business as we do. We tell them, where all you're making mistakes, here's how you fix this stuff. And they're certified. And so when somebody comes here from California or Ohio, wherever they come from, and say, we're going to come to North Las Vegas, I say, great, who's your architect, who's your engineer? And they say, well, we're going to bring our architect from St. Petersburg, we've always used, or our engineer from Houston, Texas with us. They don't know our rules, they don't know our laws. They go, how fast can I get a permit? I say, well, probably 4 months, probably. But if you use one of these certified people who understand our processes, I can get your permit in 4 days. You go, 4 days, that's impossible. But Dennis, all it is, we take a look at the piece of property, we see where you're going to put the building. You give us your plans, we'll start working on it, but there's so much you can do. You can dig your trenches, you can get ready to put your fire hydrants in, you can do a lot of stuff on site. Don't bury anything, but you know the rules as well as we do. The contractors know the rules, so we keep those contractors busy immediately, keeping their employees busy immediately. So we speed up the process in North Las Vegas. We're your business partner. We're not the city of North Las Vegas. We're your partner, and we want you open, and we want to diversify Southern Nevada.
That's great. That's great. So if you're listening to that and you're thinking about coming to North Las Vegas, you've just heard it from the man himself. You're going to get up and running in a heck of a lot less time. All right, finally, before I let you go, we talked about it, raising money. Where do people go to if they want to contribute to your campaign? They want to help you in your campaign, either when the time comes by walking or whatever. Where should they go?
We have a website. It's www.votejohnlee.com. And that tells people what my stances are on things. That explains who I am. That explains what I hope to do in the future for the residents of Nevada. It gives you access to the campaign. If you want to sign, or where do I go vote? Anything that we can help you with.
Right.
You don't have to call us and say, I'm all for John. You can say, well, I'm all for this in North Las Vegas. Could we do this or that too? It's open forum for people who want to know more about me and what I can do to help.
Yeah, that's great. We appreciate you taking time out of what I know is a busy schedule. We'd love to have you on sooner than later when you get a little further into the campaign and see how you're progressing and all of that stuff. So everybody pay close attention to what's going on. Certainly give Mr. Lee a look. And like I said, we got a ways to go, but we've got a lot of issues on the table. So anyway, thank you again. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. On behalf of the mayor, I'm Dennis Silvers, and we're going to see you right back, same place, same time next week. So long, everybody.